Hi, my name is Marc, and today I'm presenting a video depicting the steps to follow as a first police officer responding to a scene of crime. Even if different police organizations have crime scene management standardized procedures, the dynamic of a scene of crime are different and each case must be managed accordingly. Common sense and experience are paramount in properly securing a scene. The thought process starts when the first officer is dispatched on the call and she or he considers how to respond to it. If the scene is still active or the crime is completed and the suspect left. If the scene is active, if the offender has previous criminal history, or if the victim is wounded, does he or she need assistance? If the scene is not active, do I need specific material for securing the site? Or do I need shotgun residue testing kit or sexual assault kit? On the scene, your first priority is your own protection and then preserving human life. Consequently, you should, if required, make the scene safe and apply first aid. You can also call the ambulance. If you have to deal with irate bystanders, make them feeling useful by obtaining their particulars and telling them they might be required as witness. If they continue to be disruptive, be firm but professional with them and tell them to leave the scene. You should secure the scene by establishing a perimeter and controlling the access. Everything and everyone within this perimeter will be controlled by the officer in charge. When additional officers arrive, one must be detached to the victim and ensuring a proper first aid and follow-up is provided. If the officers will also start the gathering of information as well as escorting him or her to the hospital if required. When possible, you should assign an officer to look for evidences and gathering short-lived evidences. Regarding the witnesses, for multiple reasons, people will be more prompt to provide a statement if you ask, did anybody see what happened, instead of, is anybody here a witness? If the suspect left the scene prior to the arrival of the first officer, obtain the maximum of information on him or physical description, clothing, vehicle use, direction taken, or broadcast it to the other units with appropriate warning if it applies. When you have time, update and review your notebook and prepare a rough sketch of the scene describing the location and relevant items that might be used during the investigation. Then, you can create a scene security register and log who has access to the scene. If you have a superior which its only purpose is to visiting the site, you can politely inform him that by entering on the scene, you'll be part of the chain of continuity and your presence might be required as a witness during the trial. If he or she persists, don't jeopardize your career for a tourist and give him or her access. If the suspect is still on the scene at your arrival, you have the right to proceed to his or her arrest without a warrant. It is also imperative to remove the suspect as soon as possible from the scene. Actually, never allow anybody having access to the scene without approval from higher. That person might have the intent to hide or destroy evidences. Media are essential to a healthy democracy, and as police officer, you always have under consideration that you serve the public. Consequently, a respectful collaboration with the media could eventually help the investigation in the case of a public appeal. However, giving too much information too early also have a negative impact. Often media will be on the scene shortly after the arrival of the first responder, and public affairs officers won't be available. The officer in charge is generally authorized to provide a general statement without giving details that are only known by a small circle, and the golden rule is never lie to media. Your credibility and further relationship might be seriously compromised. I wish the content of this video will help you when you're gonna have for the first time have to respond to a scene of crime, and I wish you good success in your endeavor.